Hello again. I'm going to read another book today. And this book is one of my favorite books about how sometimes we feel sad. So, it is by Kyo Maclear and illustrated by Isabel Arsenal. And it's called Virginia Woolf. And so it's kind of got a little bit of funny reference for adults who know a famous author named Virginia Woolf who was very sad in her life sometimes. So it's kind of about that. One day, my sister Virginia woke up feeling wolfish. She made wolf sounds. And she did strange things. So here you can see her sister. Look, she threw her clock. When I painted her picture, she growled, "Vanessa, don't!" When her friend rang the doorbell, she moaned, "I'm not home!" She scared everyone away. She said, "Do not wear that cheerful yellow dress." My favorite dress. "Do not brush your teeth so loudly." She even told the bird, "Stop that racket." She was a very bossy wolf. And the whole house sank. Up became down, and bright became dim, and glad became gloom. I did my best to cheer her up. I offered her treats and she gobbled them up. But it made no difference. Nothing pleased her. Not the cat, not my violin, not even making faces at our brother Toby. She just pulled up her covers and said, "Leave me alone." And then she said nothing to anybody. So here Vanessa is trying to offer her different things to make her feel better, but nothing's working. She's just covering up. She's very sad, but she's also being kind of angry and grumpy too. I lay down beside her on the bed. We were two quiet lumps under the blanket. We sank deep among the pillows. We looked out the window and gazed at the sky. We watched the clouds, a smudgy sailboat, a flying llama, and a floating castle. It was like a whole other world. Still, my sister said nothing to anybody. After a while, I said, "There must be something that will make everything feel better." I said, "Please, Virginia." I said, "Say anything." Finally, she replied, "Well, if I were flying right now, I might feel better." "If you were flying," I asked, "where would you like to go?" I opened her atlas and named a few places. An atlas is a book that has lots of maps in it, like this map behind me. I said, "Paris, Tokyo, Mexico City?" "No, no, no," she cried. "If I were flying, I would travel to a perfect place with frosted cakes and beautiful flowers and excellent trees to climb and absolutely no doldrums." So there she's describing a place. "Where is that?" I asked. She thought for a moment, and then she said, "Well, Bloomsbury, of course." "Bloomsbury?" I asked. "I've never heard of it. Is it near Burlington?" She shook her head. "Or Buffalo?" "I don't think so." She growled. And then she slipped back under her covers. Maybe she was almost feeling better talking about this place called Bloomsbury, but it didn't quite work. I flipped through her atlas, but I couldn't find any Bloomsbury. No perfect place. I didn't tell my sister, but I had an idea. I found my art box and a stack of paper, and I tiptoed around the room while she napped. I wonder what Vanessa's idea is. I made a garden. I painted trees and strange candy blossoms and green shoots and frosted cakes. I painted leaves that hushed in the wind and fruit that squeaked. And slowly, I created the place called Bloomsbury. I made it look just the way it sounded. So look, her painting. My sister woke up. At first, she was too busy howling at the moon to notice what I was doing. Ow! But then as I painted a swing and a ladder that reached up to the window so that what was down could go up, my sister started to pay attention. So there's Virginia watching her paint, creating Bloomsbury. I wonder what Virginia's going to do. I brought the outside inside. I painted floating petals that looked like confetti. And then my sister stood up and helped. She said that wolves like to wander around, so we painted a field with a big roaming space. We made turquoise birds and purple butterflies out of colored paper. And Virginia told a story about a gray-shelled snail that passed along the earth and reached the top of a mountain without realizing it. So can you find the snail climbing the mountain? See their birds and butterflies they're making together? See, Virginia's helping out. And then the whole house lifted, and down became up, and dim became bright, and gloom became glad. And when we were done, it was past midnight, and everyone was asleep. The next morning, my sister woke up and said, "The flowers are floppy." I nodded. "The trees look like lollipops." I nodded again. "That shrub looks like an elephant." "You hate it," I groaned. "No," she said. "It's perfect. I love it." And I smiled. She looked different, so I asked her how she felt. "Much better," she said, looking a bit sheepish. "Do you really feel better?" I asked. So here's Vanessa. Here's Virginia. "Yes." She smiled and took my hand. "Now let's go outside and play." What happened to Virginia? And there they go, outside to play. So at the beginning of this story, Virginia was feeling very sad. And her sadness was kind of making her angry and grumpy. But her sister did her very best to help her out. And at first, nothing was really helping and nothing was working. But one thing she did, she started doing in the middle, she sat down with her sister and she listened to her and sat quietly with her and let her sister be sad, because sometimes we all feel sad. I feel sad sometimes, and I bet you feel sad sometimes, and that's okay. And sometimes we just need to be sad for a little while, and maybe we need someone to be with us while we're feeling sad. And eventually, with a little patience, a little time, maybe a little artwork or activity of some kind that we like, we'll start to feel a little bit better until we're ready to feel all the way better. All right, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me.